The Sixers are distracting me from the fact that the Eagles are back on track. The Sixers are distracting me from my points I made yesterday that I won't overreact. The Sixers are so back, baby. And the Eagles, well, mostly, are back on track. Trending in the AM, talking Sixers, Eagles, and whatever else you want. Something going on with Terry Rozier, too. We're live in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live, YouTube and Twitter. You know the drill. Wherever you're watching, hit the like button. Wherever you're watching, hit the share button. Of course, subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page. Starting today at 781 subscribers. Let's see if we can gain a few more today and continue the march to 1,000 subscribers. First and foremost, like, subscribe, share, and vote on the YouTube poll question of the day. Is VJ Edgecombe the greatest Sixers rookie ever? What did I say yesterday? Check me when I overreact? Well, I need to be checked this morning because that was a completely different basketball game that I watched from the last 5 years, 7 years. It was something completely different about that team. So we're going to overreact to that Sixers game. I know it's just night one, but we're going to overreact to it. Obviously, the Eagles, lots to talk about as we are very, very close to the revenge game versus the Giants. Lot to get into with the Eagles. Somebody new popping up on the injury report yesterday. One A.J. Brown, so we're going to dive into that. But like, share, subscribe, vote on the poll. I'm Phil Stiefel, guys, and we got already a boatload of comments, so we're just going to start getting to them. History-making night for VJ. The kid is going to be incredible. Oubre clutch three in the corner to take the lead. Maxey with a 40-piece. VJ and Maxey is dangerous duo. I'm all in. Dude, I'm all in on that duo, man. 40 from Maxey, 34 from Edgecombe. Dude, the kid just played with such confidence last night. I love it. I don't know, should be one of the... No, because we're overreacting on this Thursday morning. I don't know, would have been too cautionary with that. No. We are full overreaction mode this morning. So, yes, if it's already not 100% yes. 100% should be the answer on that. And good morning to you as well. Good morning, Jim. How you doing? The Sixers are back, baby. I'm suckered in after one game. Don't ever use... the process is long gone and over. This is a new Sixers team. It's a new Sixers era. A Sixers era where Joel Embiid rides the bench in the closing minutes of a basketball game. We're going to have to talk about Joel Embiid's performance, too. What's up, Dante? Bright and early this morning on a flight back from Boston. Hell of a game, especially for VJ and Maxey in terms of greatest rookie, too soon to tell. I know I'm overreacting. I'm just having a little fun with the greatest rookie ever. If you're on a plane, you got to walk around the plane or the airport and get everybody to subscribe to this channel. Just walk around and tell everybody. Get on it. But yes, it's a joke. It's sarcasm. But let's be honest. Last night's performance from VJ Edgecombe is something that obviously happens very rarely in the NBA, very rarely in Philly, that a rookie just comes in and just straight dominates like that. I mean, the dude played 42 minutes in his first game in the NBA, dropped 34 points, made big plays, shot the ball, drove the basket, played good defense, missed 2 free throws at the end of the game that could have haunted us, but whatever. Maxey and VJ is where we should be building off of, and we need to factor out Embiid as much as possible. Look, I expected Embiid to look slow, sluggish, out of game shape. I know he's in the best shape of his life, he says, and they say, but there's a difference between being in physical shape and game shape. Two totally different things. But there were parts of Embiid's game last night where he just looked reactionary, a tick slower than I'd like to see. Just a guy cutting, he turns a little slow, He goes to make a pass. He makes the pass a half a second. The processing speed of what was happening around him was slow. It's like he was on a Gateway 2000 or something like that instead of a modern computer. And that does concern me. I think he'll get in shape. He'll be able to make more buckets. He won't shoot so poorly. It's a work in progress not trust the process, a work in progress for Embiid. But you're right also, Embiid can't be the focal point. There were stretches where the offense got stale trying to make Embiid the focal point. This offense is VJ. This offense is Maxey. Now, when Paul George, when Watford, and when McCain all come back, it'll make the team that much deeper because the bench was a big glaring wasteland last night. Quentin Grimes, I can't believe he won at $25 million after what I saw last night per year. But if you get McCain on the bench, you get Barlow back to the bench when Watford starts. Maybe Oubre goes to the bench. I don't know. There are some pieces for this Sixers team to work with. But I don't want Embiid to hold down the potential. Embiid and PG too slow to play with these young guys. They will slow the game down. Absolutely agree. Both those guys are going to have to understand that they are not the 1-2 option on this team anymore. Now, I will say it looked like on the bench, Joel Embiid was more engaged than Paul George with his teammates down the stretch. But Joel Embiid and Paul George can't be the focal point of this team. Embiid was a minutes restrictions. He needs to get his... Oh, absolutely. He's on a minutes restriction. I didn't expect him to play only 20 minutes. I expected a little bit more. I expected like 25 minutes from him. But I think they originally had planned to put him back in at the end of the game for the final 4 or 5 minutes, and then the way the team was playing, you just couldn't make that change. And good on Nick Nurse not forcing that there. Good morning, Lil G. We got plenty of Eagles to talk about today. A.J. Brown popping up on the injury list yesterday with a hamstring injury. Hopefully it's just maintenance of the training camp injury and not a new injury or not a new problem. Hopefully it's just maintenance. Jeff McClain did report that they expect A.J. Brown fine, good to go for Sunday. But I'm sorry that I'm just overly hyped for this Sixers team at this point. Because the confidence I saw from that team, the energy. Tyrese Maxey, I was starting to worry about Tyrese Maxey last year, losing his love of the game, losing his spark because of the struggles of this team. But something just seems different. You had guys like Dominic Barlow last night and Jabari Walker playing their roles beautifully last night. I mean, that Barlow kid, honestly, I knew nothing about this kid. Put up 34 minutes, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. 5 of those rebounds were offensive rebounds. Had a block shot. Made almost all his free throws. That kid got some hustle, some heart. Barlow, in one game, showed why this team's different at this point. Well, happy birthday to your stepmother. I really need to kick the Giants back to where they belong. Look, I think the Giants game this weekend is going to be no blowout. They're coming off a devastating loss, the Giants, where they blew it. We coming off a big win, but also trying to get that revenge. It's a division game. I mean, we all want 35-10 victory over the Giants on Sunday. But the odds are that's not going to happen. The odds are it's going to be a close game. The odds are that it's going to be a dogfight with our division rival. Barlow, best two-way player. He will be called up and put on the roster ASAP. Oh, is he just a two-way player? And he started last night? I had no idea he was a two-way player. That's why I don't know much about him. That's why I didn't even realize who he was. So I guess I don't pay attention to those two-way players. That was a hell of a game from him last night. And I don't think he's supposed to be should be starting right now. I think he'd be great coming off the bench. I mean, that bench last night, Dante, was just brutal last night. I mean, Grimes played 32 minutes. He had 10 points, but I think that was even not that good. Bona didn't look great last night. Drummond got a couple of minutes. Jabari Walker did solidly 6 and 4 in his 19 minutes. But it was a point in the fourth quarter where our bench had a combined 3 points. Or maybe it was late in the third quarter. You're not going to win when your bench isn't scoring at all. And you can't have VJ and Maxey playing 40-plus minutes. That's a little weak. I'm actually shocked that Kyle Lowry or Eric Gordon didn't get in for 5 minutes just to give one of those guys a blow. See, I had no idea. That's why I didn't know who he was before last night, obviously, Derek Barlow. But Barlow played with some spunk, some energy. The way Barlow's played is why Joel Embiid wasn't brought back in late in the game. He's exactly why. They went with the small lineup and left him in there because he was playing with energy. The bench is atrocious. But once Jarrett McCain comes back, once Watford comes back, once Paul George comes back, whether we like Paul George or not, whether he'll be able to keep up with these young athletes, these young bulls, like we want and he needs to, that's beside it. But when you bring those three guys back, obviously it lengthens your bench. It makes things a little easier. Hopefully, Barlow is up here still at that point. I'm surprised we didn't get any Justin Edwards minutes last night. It says he had 0 minutes. Instead, it did not play. So maybe he went in there for a couple seconds and I missed it at some point. Maybe he checked in for a moment. But you're going to need more from the bench. It's just going to have to come from once these other guys come back. We're still probably a couple weeks away from McCain, but Paul George might be back this weekend for the next game on Saturday, I believe it is. Watford might be back, just shortly after that as well. But as of this point, the bench is a barren wasteland, especially if you can't get more than 20 minutes out of Joel Embiid. Not being able to get 20 minutes out of Joel Embiid is a big, big, big problem. You got to be able to get more out of him than that. But you still can't let him be the focal point of the offense. So that's that. Look, VJ Edgecombe, all the people talking, Ace Bailey was the pick, not VJ Edgecombe. And I kind of said you kind of got to go with VJ Edgecombe, go with the smarter player. I mean, Ace Bailey last night, I think, had 2 points in his debut. Did not start in his debut. Ace Bailey, from all statistical looks, box score checking, had a terrible rookie debut. VJ Edgecombe, on a side note with VJ Edgecombe, for some reason, I kind of feel like, I didn't watch much preseason basketball. I think I only watched a couple minutes of Joel's game the other day. From Summer League to now, it looks like VJ Edgecombe's already bulked up a little bit. Kind of feel like he looked a little scrawnier in Summer League, in the draft process. He looked like a scrawny, skinny kid. The dude's yoked up. The dude's put on some muscle. 6'4", but plays like he's 6'6". He flies like he's 6'6". Hustles on defense. He missed those 2 big free throws at the end of the game. Didn't let him distract him from playing defense on the follow-up there from the Celtics that could have won the game. There's so much to love from VJ Edgecombe's performance last night outside of the scoring. The grabbing the rebounds, the defense, the running, the passing. The kid's got the potential to be the complete package. And when people compare him to Jimmy Butler, Andre Iguodala, whoever, nights like last night, despite it being the first game, and Saturday might come out and play terribly, who knows? But nights like last night are things you build off of to turn him into an elite star. Yeah, rookie of the year, yeah. I mean, after one night, sure. I mean, Cooper Flagg didn't do much last night in his debut. Who was number 2 in the draft? I forget who number 2 in the draft was. But yesterday on this show, I told everybody, don't let me overreact. Don't let me get too high or too low on the Sixers. But here I am, one night, one game. And I've spent the first 15 minutes talking Sixers over Eagles. It's crazy. It's crazy what last night did for my positivity on this team. It really, really is. And it was really exciting to watch. It was really exciting to see. I mean, he just looked like he belonged. And that's all you can hope for. Look like he belonged. That's what you want. I'm going through Twitter because I know there was one quick tweet about it, but there's not much else out here right now. But I do know that Terry Rozier was arrested this morning. Okay? For the gambling situation. Phil is edging. Dude, I'm getting close with this Sixers team. Harper, that's right. Dylan Harper, that was the other one. Dylan Harper was the second pick. So I know Wembanyama had a really big game last night. Let me pull up the Spurs box score if I could find it easily here. I'm curious. I know Ace Bailey did terrible last night. Let's see what Dylan Harper's box score, going up against Cooper Flagg looked like. He did not start. Dylan Harper played 23 minutes, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. It looks box score wise. It looks like Dylan Harper had a pretty solid game last night. Second pick, yeah, exactly. So it was Flagg, it was Harper, it was Edgecombe, and it was Ace Bailey after that. I mean, hell, as of yesterday, I had people in the chat telling me that it was still the wrong pick, that it was Ace Bailey should have been the pick. Ace Bailey's on a bad basketball team, and he couldn't even start. Wemby was awesome. Harper was solid. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going off the box score. I did not watch that game, obviously. But, yeah. Keith, were you the one, or was it Mista that was all on Ace Bailey? VJ is a player. What we witnessed last night, there's a reason why, he broke the Sixers record. Like, that's how special it was. Well, you almost had, Maxey breaking NBA records last night as well. Like, what you saw last night, something special from VJ Edgecombe. You don't see that kind of a performance from a rookie. You take the points out of it. I just look at the confidence. What rookie on a team with Joel Embiid? It was Pump Man that was on VJ yesterday. Gotcha. When you're on a team with Joel Embiid, Paul George, even though he's hurt, Tyrese Maxey, stars in the league, and you come right out and show that you belong. Man, that's exciting. It's just the swagger. It's just the look in his face. No hesitation. Taking the ball and having control of the offense. Yes, we got to talk about Joel Embiid. I know. And yes, I expected struggles from Joel Embiid. I expect that while he's in the best physical shape, he's not in game shape yet. I get that. I'm not worried about Joel Embiid in the sense of what he did last night on the court. I have concerns, Nooms, with Joel Embiid's processing speed. There were just a couple moments in the game where I saw him turn his head a little late, make a pass a little later than he should. There's some process, some mental things that I don't like to see. And then, yes, your second comment, no prayer at running. The problem is this is going to be a running team. Joel Embiid is going to have to get in much better shape. Not just better shape, much better shape to run. And I don't want Joel Embiid slowing these guys down. Once you throw Jared McCain into the mix, this team is just going to be fast, up-tempo, push the ball, pass, pass, pass. There was so much passing. No just dribble ISOs last night, except for a few times with Joel. Joel Embiid was terrible last night, as expected. But the Sixers and the rookie were great. If Joe can't get inside position down low, it would be a problem. A lot of him standing at the top, a lot of him trying to be the guy, push the pace off of rebounds last night. He just looked out of place. There was a couple times when he was on the bench that he just looked gassed. And I get it. He hasn't played a real basketball game since February. He played less than 20 games last year. I get it. I think this is a fair way to say it. Matchups will dictate. And I said it at the beginning of the show, Nooms. I was impressed and happy and glad that Nick Nurse was willing to realize I expected Joel Embiid to go back in for the final 4 to 6 minutes of the game. Close game. You want to win. It's opening night. But he realized having Barlow and Walker out there was the better matchup and fit the flow of the game, and he left Joel Embiid on the bench. I was shocked he did that, to be honest, because that's not very Nick Nurse-esque. Nick Nurse goes with his vets over the kids normally, especially in close games like that. But the matchup didn't dictate it, and the game flow didn't dictate it, so he didn't do it. And more props to Joel Embiid because he handled it like a champ. He was in the huddle on every timeout. He was coaching up the players. He was helping them out, giving them votes of confidence. It's time for Sixers fans to realize, and the Sixers to realize, this is no longer Joel Embiid's team. This is Tyrese Maxey's team. I don't expect Tyrese Maxey to drop 40 every night. And I know he's going to have his moments. It was VJ Edgecombe, the rookie, and Tyrese Maxey. I mean, I don't even think anybody else. I already took the box score off. I think only one other person had double digits. But those two guys had 74 of the 117 points. Yeah, then Barlow with 13 points. Yeah, it was what it was. Vikings big game. Is that tonight, the Vikings? I don't even have I have the box score for the Sixers up. Vikings at Chargers. Chargers are 3.5-point favorites tonight on Thursday Night Football. I'm going to take the Chargers in the 3.5 points. It's Thursday Night Football. Carson Wentz banged up on a short week. I'm going Chargers to cover tonight. I'm glad Joe appeared to be accepting. I really think he looked like a guy that understood. I think 2 years ago, Joel Embiid would have been sulking, why am I not out there? Right? Yeah, I just double-checked the box score. I forgot that Grimes got to 10 late in the game, and so did Oubre with the 3. But, yeah, I'm glad. It looked like 2 years ago, he would have so sulked on the sideline. But last night, when he was not playing, he was very engaging with his teammates, which that's the sign of a good leader. Good morning, Adam. How you doing? Sixers are back. VJ Edgecombe. Here we go. Dude, I'm suckered right back in after one game. My cousins, Hornets, even won. Hey, how about that? Just one game. Let's not make too many grand. Dude, come on, Keith. Can't we have fun? One day? Next week after we've got 2 or 3 games in the tank? We can be realistic with this team. But come on. After all we suffered through last year with this Sixers organization, all we've suffered through the last decade with this Sixers organization, I think we deserve the right to overreact and have a little fun over the hype of one game. Because that's all I'm doing. I'm just having fun. I'm just enjoying what was a form of basketball I haven't seen in ages. No, I'm not allowed to have fun? Dude, you're no fun, Keith. Why can't we just enjoy that moment and get hyped? Deep down inside, I know it's a long season, and there's so much that can go right and wrong, and VJ Edgecombe's a rookie. He's going to have his bad days. But I love to live in the moment. And in the moment, that was a phenomenal game last night. Grimes and K9 were very good in the fourth quarter. That's what Grimes has always done. Look, I'm not a Grimes guy. Never have been. And he struggled mightily for the first 3 quarters. Late in the game, he did play a little bit better last night. He made some key buckets, and he had a big, who was it, a VJ 3? Drove the basket and kicked it out for a big 3, which was a good moment there. He could have tried to force it. He didn't. You're getting sucked back into the Sixers. What did I tell you guys? To not let me get sucked in. And here I am, and you're not even stopping me. Well, Keith is trying to stop me. I am. That's all I'm doing. I'm just enjoying the game, Keith. Yeah, maybe being a little overreactionary, but that's okay. I just want to enjoy the moment last night because it's been so long since I've watched the Sixers game and been like, wow, they're an actual good basketball team. And they're still missing multiple pieces. So I'm not jumping out the damn window. I'm not proclaiming them NBA champions. We played a Celtics team, missing a lot of people. Guys that left, guys that are injured, no Tatum. Look, I'm not overreacting for real. This is just a little fun, a little ingest. This is just enjoying the moment, plain and simple. Because that's all I want to do, is enjoy the moment, all right? And I think it's okay to do that. I really do. Because why not? Why not enjoy the moment? It's going to be pretty boring not to enjoy that last night. Enjoy the moment, Phil. The Sixers have great potential. I personally haven't felt the way about the organization in a long time. Look, I still got, Dante, massive doubts on the Sixers organization. I still have zero faith in Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey, the drafter, man. McCain, Edgecombe, Maxey. I mean, he makes some good decisions when it comes around the draft. But I still can't stand Daryl Morey. Nick Nurse, I still don't have faith overall in his coaching. But again, I'm willing to open, like I said yesterday on this show. I don't know if you caught it yesterday, Dante. But I am going into this season, realistically speaking, with no expectations. And I think that's why I enjoyed last night's game so much. Because whether they won by 20, won by 1, lost by 1, or lost by 20, I didn't care. I know we're not winning no title this year. I'm going into it hoping for development from VJ Edgecombe, hoping for the next step from Tyrese Maxey, hoping for Jarrett McCain to do whatever. Now I'm throwing in Barlow into the development as well. Like, I think I'm able to enjoy the game last night more and feel more positively about it today because I don't care. I don't have any expectations. I was looking at the personnel on the floor with 8 left in the fourth quarter. I was willing to concede a defeat. If we were for real, we also beat Charlotte. Morey can draft, but needs humility less. Yeah, absolutely all that. Look, there's a point. I tweeted it out. Hold on 1 second. I think it was late third, early fourth. Where was it? You had a lineup at one point last night that consisted of Grimes, Edgecombe, Oubre, Bona, and Walker. That's not a good lineup right there, Nooms. But that's because you got no Jarrett McCain. That's because you have no Paul George. That's because Trenton Watford isn't out there yet. That changes when you get all your pieces of the puzzle together. And that's why Maxey and Edgecombe had to play so many minutes. What's up, Meche Poo? Edgecombe, baby. No Rookie of the Year award for that boy. Just give him the MVP right now. League MVP, VJ Edgecombe. Look, it's fun to overreact. It's fun to feel a certain way about the Sixers game last night. But like I said, I think because of the way I have my expectations set for this season, it will leave me with the ability to enjoy moments like last night a little bit more. It'll give me the ability to be open-minded to different rotations off the bench and whatnot because I don't care. I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to roll with the punches. Guys, if you haven't, hit that like, subscribe, share button, and continue dropping comments. And if you got Eagles comments and you're tuning in, drop those as well. We got to talk about A.J. Brown. Barlow gives you a lot of what we missed here on the glass. How many games would we get our glass? I mean, the guy had 5 offensive rebounds last night. And I didn't even know till the beginning of the show that he's a two-way player, not even on the regular roster. Sign that guy right now. It's crazy. There was more heart and hustle in that guy than I've seen from this Sixers team in years. And he's not even a regular roster member. It's okay to feel that way. I don't like it at all. But Jameer makes a lot of the calls when it comes to player personnel. Morey won it badly, but Jameer made the call. Barlow was Jameer's call. Gotcha. Interesting. Well, Jameer Nelson is a rising name in our organization and in NBA anyway, in front offices. So maybe Jameer will be making the calls later on down the line for this team. All the calls. Maybe. We'll see. I still don't have confidence in Daryl Morey. He has drafted well. There's no doubt about that. Back to the comment. I mean, how many when you said how many games would we get our glasses against the Knicks? The Knicks, man. 12-man rotation last night. You know there's a new coach in town there. VJ was great, showing no apprehension as a rookie in his debut. I don't even need to read the rest of your comment, Jonathan, because that sums it up right there. He played with the confidence of a vet, not a rookie last night. Sign of confidence for sure in himself. And I love the confidence the teammates had when he missed those 2 free throws at the end of the game. They were all up there smacking him and telling him, don't worry, you'll be fine. Maxey, VJ, and Jarrett McCain included. Great backcourt trio. Yeah, absolutely. So Billups was as well. I know there was breaking news a minute before we went live that Terry Rozier was arrested. I think this has to go to the gambling scandal. Steven, I'm trying to refresh Twitter to get this information. Obviously, there's a big issue with the gambling in the NBA and other things. Portland Trailblazers, he's their coach still. Yeah. So now it's Billups and Terry Rozier. Were they ever on the same team as a coach player? I don't know. There's going to be a lot of shit going down in the NBA, I think, today in this gambling ring. There's going to be a lot more names dropping that get into trouble. Okay? It's a big deal. It's a big, I don't know if it's a RICO case per se, but it's a big deal that they've been working on this for a while. There's going to be a lot of names arrested. And if Mark was in the chat or Mark was on the show as a guest, Mark would tell us how it's because gambling is awful and gambling leagues shouldn't get in bed with gambling sites, and that's why this happens. It is what it is. But it is going to be a massive thing, and it's not going to be as big of a scope as the steroid scandal and that list, but there's going to be a lot of names that go down. And if Billups goes down, and if Rozier go down, they're going to drop other names as well. The most important thing for me is that Edge doesn't look, act, or perform like a rookie. That's a huge value. Absolutely. Absolutely agree. Because you need a cheap player to perform when you got 2 guys commanding up 90% of your salary cap that aren't performing. I will say this, it's a lot easier to be positive as a team when there is a 0 in the loss column. Absolutely agree. Billups was always shady, good player, but shady. Yeah, maybe I didn't pay close enough attention to notice shady. He was a good player. Gets overhyped because of his playoff performances, and rightfully so. Was always great in the playoffs. You know, that's where he made his money, made his bones. But look, gambling has been an issue for athletes for so long. And, you know, I always go back to the Netflix documentary on the Delco referee, Dunahee. Is it Tim Dunahee? I forget what his first name was. Cardinal O'Hara graduate, I believe. And they did a documentary on his whole situation. Maybe it was an ESPN 30 for 30. No, it was a Netflix documentary. And they talked about it in it so much that they're just the ones getting caught. But it's been going on for years, and it's still – they recorded the documentary years after the situation unfolded. He's like, it's still going on. So I'm not shocked that there's going to be a major development in gambling in the NBA. Looks like BG fell right back into place with the team and all the players. Yeah, absolutely. I think that he will play on Sunday by default because you're not going to have Ojulari. You only got 3 edge rushers. He's going to play. We'll see how much he plays. You heard reports from offensive linemen that the trash talking went up instantly by him being back on the practice field. He seems to be in good shape. Is he in great shape? Who knows? But if you can get 10 snaps out of him on Sunday to kind of set the vibe on defense, to let Jackson Dart know, yo, we're not messing around anymore, get in the ear of some of those Giants players, it's worth it. It's worth it. Yeah, Tim Dunahee. That's right. It was Tim Dunahee. I thought it was Tim Dunahee. What's up, Joseph? How you doing? They're back. VJ and Maxey looked great. Let's go. Once I think I was out, they pull me back in. Michael Jordan is worse than any of these dudes, though. Absolutely. I mean, the dude was a massive gambler. We all know that. And I hope he didn't, do anything illegal back then. That would ruin his legacy in a heartbeat. That Eagles vet style and feel is slowly coming back in the house, just like Stella. I think we are getting our groove back on defense. I hope so. I mean, the practice report yesterday was pretty lengthy and long. And obviously, A.J. Brown popped up on the practice report, Duck, with a hamstring. Hopefully, it's just maintenance of what's been bothering him since training camp. That's fine. Otherwise, we'd be in real trouble. I don't expect Cam Jurgens back. Landon Dickerson was back and knee or ankle. Did you hear any rumors of Kelsey wanting to come back? No. He flat out said no. There is zero chance that he'll come back. He said it this week on his podcast. I saw the clip. There's zero chance that Kelsey, he's lost too much weight. He wouldn't, A, his body can't physically do it. But B, he also lost too much of his mass. So he wouldn't be able to push around people like he would need to. So there's zero chance that Jason Kelsey comes back. I was wondering if David Stern having him retire for a few years. There are people that have said that before. And maybe that's the case. We'll never know. On other note, Victor Wemby is unreal. 40-piece in all-time. Yeah, Victor Wembanyama, from all reports, everything I'm reading online when I woke up this morning, had a phenomenal game. So, yeah, that's great. Good for him. But still, out of all the top 5 draft picks, VJ Edgecombe outproduced all the others last night. Harper, Flagg, Bailey, all of them. Kelsey would need to up 30. Yeah, exactly. He said he's just under. He's a trim 265 right now. And, yeah. Yeah, there's no way. If anything, I think Brandon Graham looked a little overweight yesterday in some of the pictures I saw. But anyway, Brandon Graham being back, it's a huge boost for the defense. In a position of need, in a position that we have problems. They also brought in our old friend Sua Opeta onto the practice squad for a guard position. Last played for us in 23, last played in the NFL in 23. Been bouncing around practice squads there, but knows the system. Played over 500 snaps in 23 for us at guard. So that's a good thing. Do you want Brett Toth at center and Landon Dickerson on the outside? Everybody's talking about the other option, moving Landon Dickerson in, put Pryor or Toth at guard, or people already want to Opeta at guard. Do we really think Brett Toth was that bad? Like, it wasn't good. Forced us to go under center, and multiple players have spoken out about how they want to play under center more. Offensive line, Mailata said it yesterday. You stick to center, you stick to Brett Toth, and you at least give that combination the first half of the game before you make any other pivots or whatnot. Brandon coming back is huge on the field and in the locker room. I think it's bigger on the field than the locker room, even if he just plays 10, 12 snaps a game, Dante, because they didn't have that swagger on the field. You know, if you don't have somebody on your defensive line trash talking and getting the heads of the players on the other team, it makes a difference. 100%. I still think that BG should not have come back. And I know there's some people that think that. And Mitchie Poo, why don't you think he should come back? Before I answer it, why don't you think? Because I don't think he should have come back if it's the only move. If that's Howie's big home run move. But if they go out and still sign somebody else, then it's fine. You're just bringing a leader back to a locker room that's missing leadership. If you expect him to go out there and play 35 snaps, yeah, I didn't want him to come back for that either. But you have 3 edge rushers active for this upcoming Sunday's game. You needed somebody. Dylan Harper was a very legit pick and who I wanted to trade up for. Looks like we did the right thing. Yeah, I'm just giving a hard time to Harper. Harper seems by the box score to have played a solid game. I'm just hyping up and overreacting to one game from VJ Edgecombe because why not? I just love that he just completely destroyed Ace Bailey on the stat sheet last night. That's really all I truly care about because of all the Ace Bailey love that was floating around for that immature guy. I want to trade. I want to trade too. I want to see somebody too at it, okay? Toth is a guy where there's a plan for his presence could be an issue. But I think playing under center should give the Giants way more to plan for. We may have to take another L. I mean, I said it earlier. It's not a cakewalk. It's not. What if he gets injured? I mean, what if you trip and get injured watching this show? I mean, you can get injured at any time. Okay? He did end his career in the perfect way, but he didn't want his career ended. Okay? The Eagles did not think they needed him. He said he wouldn't play for anyone else but the Eagles. He stayed in shape. He was in team meetings all offseason. It was one of those things where, yeah, he got hurt in the Super Bowl too, didn't he? Didn't he re-tear his tricep in the Super Bowl? So he walked off the field as champion, but he loves his team. He loves this organization. This organization needs help at a position that he excels at. He never wanted to retire. And honestly, before he got hurt the first time last year, what was it, week 7, week 8? He was the best edge rusher on our team at 36 years old. So he obviously was proven that he still got plenty left in the tank. He could get injured. Sucks. But it is what it is. Like, it's his choice. I see people saying, well, the Eagles are forcing him back. No. You don't get forced to play. It's his choice. He wants to. He takes that risk. Yeah, technically he did. I thought he re-tore that tricep in the Super Bowl. Brandon Graham had entirely too much left in the tank. Absolutely. Maybe if he doesn't get hurt last year, maybe he goes off and plays the full season. Maybe he's less likely to return. But I get what Mitchie Pooh's saying, and he's not the only one. There's other people saying that he shouldn't have come back on Twitter and on social media. I get it. I see the points made. I don't agree. I'm not on the same side of that argument as they are. You don't think we're winning the Super Bowl? I mean, it's very well possible, Mitchie Pooh, that we don't. There's way too much parity in the NFL right now to have any idea who's making that run. There's at least 4 or 5 teams in the NFC that could compete with the Eagles for that Super Bowl berth. The Packers, the Lions, the Bucks, the Rams, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Giants, not the Giants, the Cowboys. There's a lot of teams out there. So why wouldn't you want to bring back a veteran leader that your team loves? A veteran leader that's going to whoop the slack out of these players. Who's going to get any lack of focus in that defensive meeting room back on track. I don't think there's anything wrong. I think the positives massively outweigh the negatives. And Brandon Graham coming back doesn't mean we're going to win a Super Bowl. Measuring stick is the Lions game. Yeah, I think so. More so than the Packers game. I still have the Lions above the Packers in my pecking order, for sure. I think a measuring stick was the Rams and Bucks game, and we took care of business. Ugly, but we took care of business there. Those were important wins, too. Oh, I love seeing Ace Bailey's stat line. Love it. Love it. Here, I love it so much. I did this. I did this for all your viewing pleasure. Comparing VJ Edgecombe to VJ Edgecombe to Ace Bailey last night. Oh, man. Look at that stat line comparison right there. You got to love it. Where are all the Ace Bailey stands this morning? Look at their career numbers side by side. Love to see it. Had to do that, though. I had that queued up for some point today. Didn't know when I was going to drop that graphic, but, I figured why not? Perfect moment right there. Look, back on the Eagles front. I think the Brandon Graham return is whatever. It doesn't bother me like it does some. But they still have so many other holes to fill. No cap, I thought BG could come back with the Lions. I know how much he loves it here, but your original home. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's fair. He's a Detroit guy. He said he would never play for another organization, though. So, I trusted in what Brandon Graham said there. What's up, Billy? How you doing this morning? Hope you're well. VJ Edgecombe can be the rookie of the year. I mean, we're overreacting for shits and giggles this morning, so absolutely. I mean, deep down inside, let's see what he does 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games into the year. But that was a welcome to the NBA night for the kid. And we've talked a lot about it today, Billy, that it's not just the numbers. It's the confidence he played with, the air that he carried himself with. He carried himself like a 5-year vet last night, not a first-game rookie. And that's what's hard to develop in a young player. We need a cornerback, too. Well, you say that. Jacorian Bennett's practice window was opened, and he practiced in full yesterday, which means he could be activated. Adoree Jackson out with a concussion, won't be there. They may activate Jacorian Bennett. And when Vic Fangio spoke on Tuesday, how did he phrase his comments on Jacorian? He hasn't gotten enough looks for me to know what he is. And when the way he said it, Vic Fangio, it tells me that if Adoree can't go, if Jacorian Bennett can be activated, you're going to see Jacorian Bennett over Keely Ringo to start the game against the Giants. Now, I know Malik Neighbors was out for the year. I don't know if everybody else is back and healthy on the Giants wide receiver core or not, but we do need a cornerback too. But I think they're going to give this week to Jacorian Bennett to see whether they got to make a big trade or a depth trade for cornerback too. When we drafted VJ, wasn't a fan of the pick, thought the kid was super athletic with not a lot of basketball. Holy fudge, was I wrong. And we're overreacted to one game, elephant in the room. I get it. We're having fun with it. But I was always on board because I always thought VJ Edgecombe looked the more mature player. Guys, if you haven't yet, please hit that like, subscribe, share button. Lots of people watching, not enough buttons being hit, guys. Make sure you're doing all your parts to help grow this show today. VJ Edgecombe, the maturity between him and Ace Bailey was so drastic. I got those that wanted us to trade up for Dylan Harper. I understood that. I knew the Sixers weren't going to trade up to do that. I thought, if anything, they would trade back. But they made the right decision. And for as much crap as I give Daryl Morey on a daily basis, and will continue to give him that crap on a daily basis, he's hit some home run draft picks. And of course he's not going to average 30. And this team in 2 weeks is going to be looking different. He's not going to need to play 42 minutes. You don't want him playing 42 minutes. When Jarrett McCain comes back, there's minutes there and shots there. Paul George, love him or not, he's going to get his. Joel Embiid will get into the flow of the game more as the season goes on. There's going to be more pieces to the puzzle. But I think after one game, we can rightfully say that VJ Edgecombe's a starter on this team, that VJ Edgecombe should start on this team, that VJ Edgecombe, after one game, I could already say was the right pick. And did anybody else notice what I noticed? I said it earlier in the show. And from Summer League to now, it looks like VJ Edgecombe also bulked up a little bit. I remember watching one of the Summer League games. I'm like, this guy is just a little too skinny to muscle up in the NBA. He needs to put on some weight, some muscle. He looked strong last night. He moved with authority. He got to the rim with authority. He wasn't afraid of contact from defenders. There's some wily vets out there for the Celtics last night. And as much as we're talking about VJ Edgecombe, you got to talk about Tyrese Maxey as well. And now Tyrese Maxey looked refreshed, fresh. I've always said, if Maxey ever loses his smile or his speed, we're done. We're doomed. Well, Maxey's speed and smile were amplified last night on opening night. We're all hyping up VJ Edgecombe, but we're forgetting that Tyrese Maxey was the real dominator last night. 7-9 from 3. Seriously? His three-point percentage, Tyrese Maxey, went down drastically last year. He got banged up. He lost his spark. Last night, huge sign forward for the regression that Maxey had last year. It's good to know VJ can be called upon in the last 2 minutes as usual. Absolutely. No fear from that boy. No fear in the big moments last night. You do not want Maxey having to force it. I don't think he forced anything last night. And that's great. He didn't feel the need. He also had another running mate out there that he knew could get buckets if he could. There was a big difference from when I saw Tyrese Maxey last night through the end of his season last year. I forget what point he got ruled out for the year, but there was something missing from Maxey last year. Confidence, injuries, shot-making ability, the spark. Last night, it was back. And we can hype up VJ Edgecombe all we want. But this is Tyrese Maxey's basketball team. I fully believe that Maxey is the leader and the front man for this new era of Sixers basketball. Yeah, I'll call it that. He was a beast. He was a beast last night, Maxey. And I love to see it. Because I don't think enough conversation was had this offseason about what happened with Maxey last year. I don't want to say he regressed. He was hurt. The Sixers were bad. He got hurt. There's so much that went into it. But he was bad last year from what we expected. One call out, a lot of those made threes was from Joe setting the screening out his man. Yeah, I saw 2 or 3 of those threes coming off of Joel's screens. Absolutely. And even though Joel played terribly, Joel still affected the ball on defense, affected what the Celtics did on offense at times. He still did screen well. I'm not writing Joel off completely after last night. Some may, but I won't. I understand what the process is with him this year. Now, I hope when he gets to as close as 100% as he can get, that he doesn't slow this team down, and we don't run everything right through him. But I understand that Joel Embiid is still a key piece of this team. He's not going to be the MVP. He's not going to put up 28 points a game. But Joel Embiid still can be an important factor on the Sixers team. As long as he accepts what his role is going to be, what his role could be, what his role should be, he's got to understand he's not an MVP player anymore. And once he accepts that he's not a top, what do you say? Oh, the NBA doesn't think I'm a top 100 player anymore. Well, when you accept that and just play within yourself, the good can happen. There's a lot of gravity coming Joe's way, but the transition game could be a big issue. Yeah, this is 100% Tyrese Maxey's team. And the sooner the Sixers realize that, the sooner that Joel Embiid and Paul George realize that, and they may already in the locker room realize that, this team can take a step forward. Build around Maxey. Build around VJ. More half-court game in the playoffs would benefit Joe if he gets there. Yeah. Hey, I'm fine with Joel Embiid struggling or slugging his way through the regular season. And then being the MVP of the playoffs, of the postseason. Sure. He could be like Jalen Hurts. He could get the MVP in the finals. Turn it up when it matters most. Have your best game in the biggest moment. Jalen Hurts wasn't an MVP last year. Played within himself. Let the team flow through the running game, which was what the new thing was. And then when it mattered most, he saved what he had for the biggest part. Yeah. There's going to be people on social media today. There's going to be people talking heads saying Joel Embiid is washed. The bum. He should just retire. There's going to be a lot of negativity around Joel Embiid today. And I'm here to say, stop. This is what to expect these early games from Joel. He might have on Saturday some good moments. And then the next game, not. It's going to be a 2 or 3 week process for Joel Embiid to get into at least decent game shape. And he's got to build the mental confidence in his knees back up. If he can even do that. Even when he jumps, you see how cautious he is. He went down on the court once last night in the first half, and I'm like, He does that constant little stretch with his hands over his forehead, and you don't know if he's hurt or not. The word process is a big-time trigger for it. It's a trigger for everybody, and I get it, but it's still a very important piece of our vocabulary. So I struggle to not use the word process. I told you 2 years ago that Maxey's team, and you wouldn't believe me. Hate to say, you absolutely do not hate to tell me I told you so. You actually probably are getting your kicks in by saying that. Look, I've never been against Maxey. I have always been a big Joel Embiid guy. And I've been one of those guys that I didn't want to admit, I guess is the word, the end of the Joel Embiid era. Okay? The Joel Embiid MVP dominant era is what I'm saying. Never wanted to admit it. But here I am today, willing to admit it. It is what it is. This is 100% Maxey's team. And like I said, everybody's hyped, Mista, about Edgecombe. But I think we should be more hyped about Maxey because, A, his season ended early on injury last year, but B, before he got hurt, he was not playing to the expectations we had set for him. I don't know whose team this is other than Nurse's right now, especially when all are healthy. And that's a big thing. I can't wait till we get McCain back, Watford back. I have expectations for him to be a solid role player. And I guess Paul George, too. Last night showed that the Sixers are now a team not dependent on a great performance from Joel. The team has overcome that. Well, see, here's the thing, Jonathan, to counter that, we did have to have two dominant performances from VJ and Maxey and everyone else. Like, can you survive with two big scores like that and everyone else just chipping in? We went into the fourth quarter last night, Jonathan, with a combined, I think it was 3 or 4 points from our bench. Now, Grimes had a couple buckets in the fourth quarter that upped that number. I think we ended up with 15 bench points, 16 bench points. Only 2 guys scored on the bench. And that was mostly, almost all of it in the fourth quarter. And that bench will get deeper when our other players get healthy and back out there. I get that. But Grimes, man, all the holding out all offseason, to go out there and play 32 minutes, make a couple buckets late, but pretty much be non-existent in the first 3 quarters. Maxey playing with 5 fouls for almost the entire fourth quarter gives me hope, especially against someone who actually eats his soul in Dark White. Dark White was playing great last night. And yeah, Maxey did get into foul trouble, and he was able to find a way to survive that game. Again, all the hype is going to go to VJ Edgecombe, and rightfully so. But I think last night's win was so much more about Tyrese Maxey than people realize. Our defense, look, there was a lot of lapses in defense. They got behind our defenders for easy dunks and layups far too many times. Part of that is no Joel Embiid. Part of that is some of these guys haven't played together. And you went with a very small lineup at times. Adem Bona did not have a good game last night. Everybody loves the backup center. Charles Bassey. It was B-Ball Paul. Now it's Bona. I'm missing somebody else in there, too. The Drummonds of the world. They love the backup center. And I don't think we've ever had a backup center really do what the fan base put expectations on them. Charles Bassey, I don't even know if he's in basketball. I know he played for the Spurs for a little bit. People love that guy. B-Ball Paul is a DMP coach's decision most of the time out of Philly. He didn't do anything after leaving Philly. And Adem Bona last night had an opportunity last night with Joel Embiid only able to play 20 minutes, and he played 15 minutes, Bona. Did not take a single shot in the game, had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 turnovers. Like he literally did nothing last night, Bona. And he had an opportunity. He could have easily put 20, 25 minutes on the stat sheet. Bassey was him. No, he was not. People cried when that boy left here. People cried when I said get rid of Paul Reed. Even every NBA team plays lazy defense. That is 100% accurate. Growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, when the bad boys Pistons are, like, I know what real defense is. That's how I earned my bones on the courts growing up. You know, I was the young, small white boy. I had to play tight defense and rebound to get on those courts. And that's how I got on the courts, Jonathan. And then I earned my right to take a shot like a year later. Let's not go overboard. The Celtics team isn't. No, I get it. We are going overboard today because it's fun, because it was an exciting game. It brought back some little bit of hope. But I said that early in the show, missed it. It was a very bad Celtics team, missing Tatum and a lot of other names that were on them last year. When Derek White's leading your team in shot attempts, you know what your team is. But still, it's still the Celtics. It's still a win. It's still a positive start to the season. Henry Sims. You want to go out? There's Jonah Bowden. Bowden? What was his name? And then the guy from BYU, Brandon Davies. They were him, right? Jonah Bolden. Wasn't he a guy? He was an Australian dude, I think. He was terrible. People hyped him. And I was a big Brandon Davies fan because that was he played with Jimmer Fredette at BYU, I think. Other than 19, this is a loss in any other game of the process era. Yes. Jonah Bolden was so bad, man. But people loved him. Oh, why are we giving him more minutes? I'd sit here and be like, dude, the dude sucks. He probably doesn't exist in the NBA anymore. He don't exist in the G League. He's probably playing in, I want to say he was Australian. I could be wrong on that. But, man, people love that boy. Guys, we only got 10 likes on this video. We've had 15, 16 people watching plenty. We got 17 likes or votes. So, guys, hit that like button if you have not. Subscribe. Share it out. I'd appreciate it. Sixers fans love the backup centers way too much in this city. Yeah, he was Australian. I was almost positive. I was like sitting at like the 97th percentile that I was sure on that one. But if I say I'm confident and I'm wrong, K1 will come out of the woodwork after not commenting just to prove me wrong. Or Marshawn will. So, you know what it is. But Adembona, Nooms, is running on a parallel line with Paul Reed and Charles Passy and Jonah Bowden right now. Huge opportunity for him last night with Joel Embiid not being able to play. And you had to go to Andre Drummond wasn't even going to play last night, I don't think. But you had to throw him out there a couple of minutes because Bona couldn't fill in. Corey Blunt, I don't even remember him. Tony Roten would not have played last night. Dude, Tony Roten, man. We were just talking centers. You want to go to backup point guards. I mean, there's plenty of those, too, that we can critique from this last decade plus of Sixers basketball. But I'd rather not go down a trip down memory lane with the Sixers because I'm focusing on the good, the positive. You want me to not overreact the rest of the show? That's fine. I get it. The Eagles, again, plenty to talk about there. We can continue talking Eagles throughout the rest of the show. I'm still trying to find an article or more details on this Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier arrest by the FBI, but there's still very little information sitting out there right now. The Pro Bowl, they announced change to that. It's going to happen the Tuesday before the Super Bowl now. Actually kind of interested in that. I like that they're at least trying to make adjustments. Yeah, but if Tony did play, he's dropping fourth. Yeah. He was the king of the stat stuffing. Tony Roten is exactly why I feel the way I do about Quentin Grimes. It was like Quentin Grimes put up some numbers last year. He's great, blah, blah, blah. He put up numbers on a bad team with all their stars hurt, right? Last night, I know he did a little bit in the fourth quarter, but he was bad. Tony Roten put up points because he was on a bad team. Was a Bearcat? Could have fooled me. What's up, Brian? Roten would have scored 35 and we would have lost by 40. Exactly. Exactly. But it was so bad. Tony got buckets on bad teams. And then when a bad team don't want him, he's not in the NBA anymore. Anyway, the vibe last night. I just felt a vibe and excited. I felt like it was a new basketball. I know a lot of the pieces were similar. Maxey, Joel. Actually, that's pretty much it. Oubre. There was a vibe. I want to see better defense. I want to see Joel get better. I want to see the bench get deeper. But there was a certain vibe with that Sixers team last night that I just can't get over it. I felt like I was watching a real basketball team for the first time in a while. Zero correlation between Rutten and Grimes, two completed. No, I know. It's the correlation is bad players that we overhype because they put up stats. They stuff the stat sheet on bad teams. So there's a huge correlation there. Stuffing the stat sheet on a bad team does it. Every Sixers team over the last 40 years that have been bad had somebody that led them in scoring. What was that dude? The year after Barkley left, you had Hornacek and Jeff Malone, I think the dude's name was. They were your two leading scorers on the Sixers team. I mean, Hornacek became a good three-point shooter in Utah, whatever, but Malone? Bad teams always do this. Then he just wasn't. 12 likes is just not good enough. This Sixers talk is killing the algo yesterday and today, Mitchie Poo. But whatever. It's trending in the AM, not trending in Eagles land. Bottom line, Grimes was on the floor for that win in crunch time. And you know what? That is. And maybe I'm being too harsh on him, Nooms, because he was out there. And that drive and dish out for three, I think it was to VJ. Actually, no, maybe it was Barlow. I forgot who he did. It was a key moment of the game. Too much Tony Buckets slander. Too much Tony Buckets talk, period. Tony Roten's name has been said more on this show than A.J. Brown or Jalen Hurts today. That's a problem. Tony Roten's name has been said more than Joel Embiid's name today, I think. There's a lot missing there. There's a lot of things wrong there. You want to correlate, then the Spoon is the epitome of what you're talking about. Absolutely. The only difference between Spoon, I liked Spoon because he played with heart. He played with hustle. He had that Philly blue-collar mindset. He was undersized. He wasn't the most athletic. Like, his intangibles made him lovable. And being able to shout, Spoon! Upped it, you know? In wrestling, you know? Is the wrestler over? Or is their nickname and chance over? You know, like, what? Baby Barkley. Absolutely. He was Baby Barkley. He was Mini-Me to Charles Barkley. Whatever. It is what it is. But it was still a great game last night. It was just great to watch a team play like a team. And if I have any criticisms, it's the bench, which we know will get better when the players get hurt, or the hurt players get better, and the defense, especially the transition defense. Definitely some issues. Willie Burton's 54-point game, I don't even know that one. It's got to be before my time, which is fine. A lot of things are before my time. Let's see. So ABC News just put out a thing. It was Billups has been charged in an illegal poker operation tied to the mafia. Law enforcement sources have told ABC News. Miami guard Rozier was in a separate but related betting case. So the Billups arrest is going to be completely different than the Terry Rozier. That's interesting. There's two. There was an illegal poker ring in L.A. that was broken up that I had heard about. I forget who was running that a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. I guess Billups was involved with that. Interesting. So the Billups arrest is not related to the Rozier arrest. Two separate gambling arrests this morning by the FBI. That's right, James. Like, subscribe, share, vote on the poll question. Is VJ Edgecombe the greatest Sixer ever, rookie-wise? Yes, 89%. 11% no. 11% of you are boring for not overreacting like me this morning. What's the point in life if you can't overreact and have some fun? Why not? What's wrong with it? I love it. I love overreacting. It's living in the moment. That's what it is. That's what I always say. I live in the moment as a sports fan. We got 20 minutes left. We got lots to talk about still. Lots still on the table. Well, yeah, I mean, 13 likes is more than Paul George. I mean, it's more than Paul George and Joel Embiid combined. Right? I don't even know what Joel Embiid's box score was. 20 minutes, 1-9 shooting, 0-4 from 3, made his 2 free throws, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block shot, minus 16. Damn, he had the worst plus-minus rating on the team yesterday. Wow. VJ's game is more mature than any other rookie, and he practices. He does practice. Practice. We're talking practice. I don't say Billups. I just say Chauncey because dude reminds me of a goofy-ass pink egg nurse Pokemon. Well, I don't know anything about Pokemon. I really don't know anything about Pokemon. All I know is I've made a Pokemon pizza before for customers. But that's it. Look, I can't wait, no offense, till the show ends and I get to work and I can sit down and read all the reports on this Billups and Rozier situation. And I'm sure tomorrow's show, why we will talk Eagles-Giants a lot more tomorrow, I'm sure we're going to talk this Billups situation and this gambling situation because I know it's a big deal. And I know there's a lot of people that are bothered by gambling in sports and how they feel it's ruining sports. I don't necessarily think it's ruining sports because it's always been there. I get why leagues promote and advertise gambling. I made a Pokemon ball pizza. It was really actually easy. A round pizza. All right. So then what you do, you put pepperoni on one side for the red side, cheese on the other for the yellow side or whatever color it is. One time I did black olives with a little circle in the middle for the little ring around the middle. The other time I did it with beef, and I just browned the beef up well done. So, yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way. I've done a Minecraft pizza, and I've done a Pokemon pizza. 94 was Will Burton's 50. No, I mean, in 94, Keith, you want me to remember 1994, one game? I don't remember it. And, yes, I watched a lot of Sixers basketball. I've been watching Sixers basketball. I would say about 10-year-old me in 1990 was when I really started getting into basketball. I don't think I watched much before then. About 10, 11 years old when I started playing more on the courts and trying. I'd say that's about when I got into basketball. So, yeah, I don't remember that, though. Let's go, Flyers. Winter teams pulling some weight. Let's go with the winter teams pulling their weight. Could you imagine if the city has 4 good teams in it at the same time? Man, proud to be an Italian. You're Italian too? We were going on our Italian heritages yesterday. We were talking about our backgrounds the other day. It is what it is. I'm not 100% Italian, but I'm 50%. More Italian blood in me than anything else. And it shows. The big nose shows how Italian I am. I'll say that for sure. Clippers lost each. Honestly, Mitchie Poo, I went to see what Ace Bailey did and Dylan Harper did in the box scores. I went to check out Victor Wembanyama's box score because everyone's talking about it. I haven't even looked at the other games. Haven't even looked. So let's check out that box score since you're bringing it up. Let's see here. They didn't just lose to the Jazz. They got smoked. And how? I mean, Ace Bailey sat the bench and scored 2 whole points. Who scored for them? Walker Kessler. Lauri Markkanen had a good game. Looks like, I guess. Yeah, I guess. I mean, interesting. I mean, what Kawhi Leonard didn't do much. James Harden didn't do much. I mean, that's why Bradley Beal, didn't even know Bradley Beal was still playing basketball at this point. Harden took the pipe. He might have taken something. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Man, just Sixers talk there. Not going to pull me back in. They won't. Hey, look, I get it. I get it. They're not pulling me back in yet either, Duck. realistically speaking, I'm going to stick to my philosophy that this is an open-ended season with no expectations. I am going to enjoy the good, which was last night, and I'm going to handle the bad better than I have in the past. Is that a better way than yesterday to say it? I'm not going to sit here and say they're NBA champions. I'm not going to say VJ is the greatest rookie ever, just outside of a joke. I'm just going to enjoy it. Because you know what? I got the Eagles to focus on. I've got the Eagles trying to get back to the Super Bowl. That's our main focus, right? That's our main focal point. Sixers are starting a long season here. Have duck quacking and whacking by Christmas. They don't play on Christmas this year, right? Rockets Thunder game still is the best game so far. I tried to watch that game, Mitchie Poo, but not being a Sixers game, I wasn't staying up till, I think it ended up going double overtime. It was like late in the fourth quarter, and I'm like, I just can't do it. Can't do it. Not my team. Not again. Like I always say, once I think I'm out, they pull me back in. Good job by Silvio Dante there on that one. Oh, man, guys, lots going on. If you haven't, subscribe, share, tell a friend. What else do we got to talk about today? I have notes down here for the Eagles from the Eagles check down, but I kind of feel like the Eagles are a secondary talk. We talked a little bit about Brandon Graham, but I kind of feel like after night Sixers game, the Eagles need that back seat, right? Edgecombe versus LaMelo Ball on Saturday. Is Saturday in Philly, or do we start on the road for 2 straight games? I don't even know. I know they play on Saturday, but I don't know if it's home or away. Sixers are just a toxic, abusive relationship. No, they're not. Not anymore. If you go in with my attitude, if you go in with my feelings, that whatever, then they're not a toxic, abusive relationship. They're not a relationship. They're the friends. They're just friends. Josh Uche had a better game than I thought. But that's still why you need Brandon Graham. Because right now you got Uche, Hunt, and Patrick Johnson. And that is it on the edge. There's nobody else there right now. Anyone watching Al Iverson TV show, call me a bad fan. I didn't even know he had a TV show. What channel is it on? What kind of show is it? Honestly, I didn't even know he had a show. Wilford Brimley in the house, finally. No, it's important to get your blood sugar checked. Absolutely. Absolutely. I wonder if Wilford Brimley does this on any other show. Saturday's game is at home. Okay, so it is a home game. Good. I really think BG will calm these guys in the locker room where they need a bit of Eagles-style vet leadership, somewhere Unc Vic doesn't really lead from. Yeah, you can't just always bring Brandon Graham back to be leadership. Somebody's got to step up as the next Brandon Graham in that locker room. I know they gave the captaincy to Bond, but he didn't do it. I also think having Nakobe Dean back in the mix is helping the leadership, will help the leadership of that defense in that locker room as well, for sure. Okay, so let's not ignore the boost that I said it in a short video. I don't think we're giving Nakobe Dean enough credit either for his return and his leadership ability. And I swear by it that if he would not have gotten hurt and he would have started the season with this team, he'd be one of the captains. We might not have Jihaad Campbell, but he'd be one of the captains on this team. Funny how putting Huff in a 4-point stance makes him a 4-3 sack machine. I think Josh Huff got hurt. I know he was becoming a sack machine again, back with Robert Saleh in San Francisco, but I think he got hurt. Allen Iverson docu-series on Prime. I had no idea. I still got to watch the Barkley docu-series. I watch the Barkley. Now I got our documentary, and now the Iverson docu-series. Is that where he announced he's been sober for how many months now or years now? I always forget to go to I turn on YouTube TV. I'll go to Netflix. And I always forget to go to Prime. It's a documentary on Amazon Prime on Iverson. I had no idea. I live under a rock. Bond hasn't been an Eagle long enough to translate that swagger. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Anyone have their Allen Iverson and not Tiger giveaways. What? I'm wherever I'm needed. Well, I'm glad. Good for you. Look, the leadership was always the biggest concern because you didn't just lose 5 or 6 defensive players last year. You lost multiple leaders. And then you also had Nakobe Dean, who was going to be missing for a little while. So it's very important that someone stepped up, and they didn't step up. We talked with Ed Kratz before the season. He talked about Jordan Davis and Cooper Dejean. They haven't emerged as leaders that you want, vocal leaders on this team. I really think Nakobe Dean will be that. I think it's going to be an intriguing story as the season goes on. Nakobe Dean's snap count, Nakobe Dean's leadership, but if he plays how I expect him to, how I think he can, and how I know he can, there's going to come a point where there's going to be a story that they need to actually consider keeping Nakobe Dean after the season. How, I don't know, but he's a vital part of this defense, a vital part of this team. And yes, I know you've got Jihaad Campbell. I get that. I know he can play the edge. I get that as well. But Nakobe Dean, let's make sure we give him love. We lost that Kenny G. Swagger. I know. In my nephew and his favorite uncle's fantasy football league, this week, the opponent I'm going up against has to start Kenny Gainwell on his team. It's like, I don't think Kenny Gainwell's a starter in fantasy football. Carson Wentz played like they still have Eagles loyalty. I don't think he ever had loyalty. And Zay Ridgers, what? Dean's return means we don't have to pretend Campbell ain't out there getting trapped to death. Look, he's a rookie, okay? Trampled, okay. I wasn't sure what you were going with, trapped to death, trampled to death. Gotcha. That was one of the translations of the spell check errors that I didn't get. I wasn't sure what the trap to death, but I was just going to roll with it, Keith. Campbell wasn't perfect, but Campbell was still playing at a pretty high level. And Campbell's a great young player. And whether he's better on the edge or on the inside, time will tell. And if Nakobe Dean isn't healthy or hurt, he might not even be an Eagle. We'll see. Zay Rogers, gotcha. Between bye weeks and injuries, Gainwell is a viable start. He's projected to get, I think it's 10 points at this point in the week. So, yeah, I get it. I get it. No, he wasn't what? Not good? I mean, I think you crush on him a little too much. I think for a rookie, he was definitely not terrible. I think you are way over-exaggerating that. Way over-exaggerating that. Okay? I'm just looking at the NFL draft. Say we hadn't drafted Jihaad Campbell because Nakobe Dean was never hurt. The next pick was Josh Simmons, offensive lineman, went to Kansas City. Maybe that could have been the pick. We needed offensive line help. After that, another linebacker. I'm looking at some of the other positions, some of the other names that I liked that went after. TJ Sanders went a few picks later. Maybe him. Interesting. Josh Connolly went 2 ahead. Interesting. Nakobe Dean, best middle linebacker on team, shouldn't be a thought from Eagles brass not to retain him. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a simple numbers game. It's a simple, injury history game. There's a lot more to it than just what he brings on the field. You drafted Jihaad Campbell. You got Zach Bond locked up. Now 2 more years after this. I don't know. I don't know what they do. Unfortunately, Campbell sometimes does the icky shuffle when there's a gap to be shot. Absolutely. And I've called him out for it. Keith probably thinks I'm just glazing on him, but no, I've called him out plenty of times for his hesitations on the field. But he is a rookie in a very difficult defensive scheme that very rarely has rookies starting from day one. And he started since day one. And on top of starting from day one, he's starting from day one having missed half a training camp. All off-season workouts. And he's still starting. So I don't think he's as bad as Keith is saying. I don't think he's as good as I've made him, but I also don't think he's as bad as he is. It's great that you have him in a position where you can bounce him outside, now that Nakobe Dean's back, and you can play around with some combinations. But again, I'm still a big Nakobe Dean guy. I'm still a big Nakobe Dean truther, and I would love for them to find a way to keep him in the mix. If Jihaad Campbell can become a great edge rusher for this team, having him, Dean, and Campbell, or him, Dean, and him, Dean, and Bond, you're in a good spot. Sorry, there was a little buzzing in my ear. But yeah, anyway, the Eagles talk really stemmed from Brandon Graham coming back. But I think the Nakobe Dean conversation is one that more people should be conversing about, should be talking about. Okay? Because again, I get Jonathan's opinion here. Been a Nakobe Dean truther, but he's not getting retained with the money we're paying Bond. And I think that is definitely part of it. But again, leadership. You got to think about leadership. Captains, vets on this team. Maybe they find a way. If Nakobe continues to play and get better, get on the field more, Campbell figures out the edge. Maybe they go into next year thinking that he's their edge and Dean's the linebacker. Maybe. But I get it. But it's not just the money, K1. It's also the injury history. I mean, he was hurt his rookie year. He was hurt his third year. Hurt this year to start the year. I mean, he was hurt in college at times, too. Campbell is the multiply position player. Dean is really good, but has had availability problems. You can't help the club from the tub, right? And I think it's not just the money you're paying Bond. It's the fact that how much money can you pay Dean knowing there's say you give him a 4-year deal. You know he's going to miss 40% of that deal. Makes it very difficult. So we got another name released. Damon Jones was in the illegal. So we already know Billups and Rozier are separate cases, but they're both been arrested this morning. But now Damon Jones as well. There's going to be a lot of names dropping, Mitchie Poo, today. A lot of names dropping in this gambling scheme. Nakobe is smart. He takes a 1-year prove it if healthy contract and then go for the gold. Yeah, it's a possibility. Last night's game has me hyped. I'm glad. It's got me hyped too. Injury history is a big issue. It is, and that dates back to college. What was it? His shoulder in college? I know it wasn't his knee. He's bad, and Nakobe is guilty of everything people criticize Brown for. Again, a rookie, not a third-year player, doing it on Nakobe. I'm willing to give them time. I might swing on a maybe. Good for you. Just run before they swing back. Just run before they swing back. Who would punch an old lady anyway? 15 legs. We're getting there today, Mitchie Poo. We're getting there. We're getting there. It was shoulder. I thought it was shoulder in college. For some reason, the knee popped in my head, but I knew it wasn't a knee. I was almost positive. Again, I'm trying to say 90% sure on things so that I have room to back out of what I say, you know? Because if I say the wrong thing, if I say I'm sure it's X and it's Y, then K1 will sit there and say, you're wrong. Hey, K1, you'd be happy to know I got a very healthy bet on Seabez Bazudenhout winning the Bank of Utah championship this week. One of my 4 major bets for this week's event. Nakobe tackles way better than Brownie, has more control and wraps up. Absolutely. Your Deacon Duck is legendary. My I swing and run away is legendary. It's a Bazudenhout kind of day, baby. Let's make some money. I don't even know who else I bet. I forget. There they are. Thor. I bet Thor. I bought Howie. I bet Clanton. I bet Smalley. And I bet Seabez. They were my 5 bets for the Bank of Utah Open. Wanted to get some money in on Davis Thompson. And Kurt Kitayama, but couldn't get them on the board. Phil is more legendary than Shedeur Sanders. I am a lot like Shedeur Sanders. Legendary in my own mind, but nowhere else in the world. Okay? I want ownership when I don't even deserve a contract. Yeah, I'm getting tired of the beard. I won't lie. Someday the beard's going to have to go, or at least go short. It does get annoying. I thought Nakobe blew the coverage against Addison, but that play was cover 8, and the offense called a cover 8 beater with 2 deep routes to Nakobe's side. It was Jefferson and Addison versus Koo. Look, that's I don't do the all 22s. I don't get into the details on that. My eye test is that Nakobe has made mistakes. Yes. He's out of position. Yes. But he's still 100 times better than we've ever seen from Sidney Brown. Is he the answer going forward? I don't know. But I have hype, I have potential, I have hope. Rookies playing from day one in a Vic Fangio-led system just goes to show where they're at. Holy crap, we're like a minute past overtime, and I haven't tried to wrap this baby up. Yeah, I hate getting food in it, beer, drinks in it. I don't know. I'm getting tired of it. I also want to change my Twitter handle, not to say Beer to Knowledge, just to have my name or network name in it. More professional, you know? I want to be professional. Anyway, I guess I got to start the wrap-up process here. We're a whole minute into overtime. I kind of totally lost track of time. Definitely lost track of time today. Anyway, that's what makes great shows, right? Might not have been the biggest algo show, but you know what? We had fun. We talked. We overreacted. And now we wrap it up. Tomorrow we'll get to Eagles, Giants, preview and prediction. I'm sure more Sixers talk. Hopefully more injury-related news comes out with the Eagles in a good way. Probably looks like Tom Cruise. Yeah, I doubt that. I might look as young as him, though, under that beard. It was a good show today. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Got to wrap this baby up. Have a great Thursday. Hopefully it'll be better than mine. We will talk again tomorrow. I know, VJ, I'm just so hyped. Greatest Sixers rookie of all time. Everybody have a great day. We'll talk tomorrow, guys. Go Birds. Bubbles up.